Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm the founder of the Transformation Center, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. And at the center, well, in addition to the individual healing and transformation coaching sessions that I do, I also love to host other practitioners. So we have workshops, different kinds of classes. We even have sound baths in the backyard when the weather's nice, because I love those. And everything is on our website. So we're going to put up the contact information. It's just Transformation Center CT for Connecticut.com. There's a calendar of events. You can register right online and just see what's there. There's always something going on. And it's really the purpose of the center is to help you discover who you truly are and to tune into that part of you and let go of your limiting beliefs, transform them into empowering beliefs. And, from there, you can really create a life that you love. So thanks again for being here today on Conscious Conversations. I love talking to new people about what they do, what they're up to, who they are, and what they have to offer you. And you can learn from my guest every week. So I'm very excited today. My guest is Lauren Mercaldi. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Katie.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. Wonderful. I'm so happy that you made the trip down today to be here in person.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're in this new studio today.
That's very nice.
At the Westport Library. I know.
Nice, yeah.
I understand we're one of the newest ones to try it. So
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're guinea pigs. So
That's
this
okay.
is fun,
Yeah, Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm going to read a little bit about you before we get started for our audience. And I met Lauren, I think it was about 4 years ago. Does that sound right?
No, I think it was like 2 years ago.
It's only two?
Yeah, I know. It seems like a long time.
Well, that's funny because usually when I say
maybe
so many
3.
years, it's usually double that. So if I say 2, it's 4, but this is the opposite.
Maybe 3, yeah.
Yeah, but it was right at the time when you were transitioning. So I can't wait to hear all about how that happened. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes and what you're up to now. So Lauren Mercaldi is a personal development and leadership coach. And she's committed to guiding individuals toward realizing their personal and professional potential. Beautiful. And she adopts a comprehensive and holistic approach to coaching. And Lauren's program not only addresses specific goals or challenges, but also emphasizes overall well-being, encompassing physical, emotional, and even spiritual dimensions. Because that's so important, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So we can hear more about that in a few minutes. Right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. But why don't we get started? You can just tell me a little bit about how did you get into this? I really want to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Katie. So my story is one where it's an interesting story, so I'll just start with that. So I was a corporate worker, climbing up the corporate ladder. I was the mom of 3 soccer kids. I was a soccer mom. And I was going about my life trying to be the best wife that I could, the best mom that I could, the best employee that I could. And I thought I was doing all the right things in life. And, I was probably looking back, probably unhappy, but didn't even realize it. I just figured that life, you're just supposed to drudge through it, and put your helmet on and plow through it.
Yeah.
And then about 5 years ago, unexpectedly, I thought I had the flu. And what it ended up being was sepsis.
Oh,
and yes, it was a very near-death experience where I had just run a 5K. I was perfectly healthy. I was in the office. I was doing all my stuff. And just thought I had the flu, and by the time I made it to the doctors, she called the ambulance right away and rushed me to the hospital, and was told if I had waited at least 10 hours, 12 hours, I would have been dead in my bed.
Oh, Lauren, that must have been kind of scary.
It was very, very scary, and it was just unexpected, and I was healthy, and I just was like, whoa, what was that about?
How can this happen?
And why? And at the same time, my dad had passed away unexpectedly, and I wasn't particularly close to him, but it was still sort of a shock to the body. And through the next 6 months, while I was trying to kind of recover physically from having the sepsis, I was also recovering emotionally, and I also suffered a few other personal losses and things that were not expected. Just I was like, what is going on? Like, why my heart just felt like it was just being torn out of me, like time and time again. And all of a sudden, I just started searching for answers. Like, why is this happening to me? Why am I having this pain? Why did I get so sick? And through friends and through community, I started meeting people that were more spiritual, and I had never been a spiritual person at all. I was just more of the ego, and you're supposed to work hard. And I started having what's known as a spiritual experience and learning more about spirituality and learning more about myself and the lack of a connection to a higher power, whatever that looks like for you, to myself. And so I've been on this journey ever since then, having some ailments and physical conditions, and realizing that a lot of it comes from my own mental thoughts. And as I progressed in my recovery, I was looking for a different thing to do for work while I was still doing corporate, and I joined a coaching program, and my coaching program was about energy as well, even though it was supposed to be more just about business and leadership. It was really about the different levels of energy. And I learned so much about how we can literally change our thoughts and change our perspectives and change our beliefs to manifest the life that we want. But more importantly, I find is that we can actually live in flow, in ease. And as I've become more spiritual and had this transformation within myself, my life has gotten so much better, but with so much less effort and so much more less exhaustion and resistance. And I am so grateful for the experience I've gone through, because I really feel like it was sort of my guides or the higher power say, okay, you're done. Like, this is not working for you. You need to find a different way. Yes. And through finding that way, I'm so grateful for it. But on the other hand, like, how much of my life did I feel like I lost? I didn't feel like I really enjoyed much of my life because I was so worried about doing the next thing. Yeah. And so my passion now is to help other people who are sort of on this spiritual experience or feel that there's more out of life, or maybe that they're not finding as much joy in their journey here, and to help them find more about themselves and to find that happiness and joy, and also grow in their professions and in their careers. Because my personal belief is, like, you can't be truly happy in your career profession unless you're truly happy within yourself and aligned to who you are, and that your profession and career are aligned with who you are. Yes. So so as you said, my coaching practice is very holistic. The first few weeks is more about your internal, your limiting beliefs, overcoming any beliefs that you have about yourself or about others that may not be true, and also to rediscover who you are and really what brings you joy and happiness. Right. And how, even more importantly, and how to change your thoughts and beliefs in order to create the life you want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think we are totally aligned on all of this because I feel the same way. So that's beautiful the way you expressed it. Yeah. You start with that, like finding out who you are and also like what is not you.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're saying, those beliefs, they're not true.
They're not true. Yeah. And I said I wasn't that close to my father, and he was really mentally ill in the 80s. And back then it wasn't talked about, but he had, really psychotic episodes and all this stuff. And I always had this belief that I was broken too, that he was broken, so I was broken. So I was going to do everything I could to not be like him. And so I think that's when it kind of drove my my energy for it, right? It was more about the fear and going through life of trying to prove otherwise, if that makes sense. Oh, yeah. And that just, but I never really thought about if I was happy, because I just figured life wasn't happy. I don't know. I just had a weird perspective about life. And realizing how my beliefs were so wrong that I just assumed I was broken because my dad was broken. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally. Because we do pick up on other people's, either their beliefs or how they are, their behavior, gives us messages that are incorrect. So what was it that initially made you realize that your belief was not true about yourself? Do you remember? Yeah,
so it was kind of funny. So when I started, there's two things. But when I started my coaching program, we had to take an assessment. And I would say there was probably 35 people that were taken at the same time in my class. And there was a score. And we were all talking about our scores. And I got the lowest score. And I was like, what? People don't think like I do? Like, I just thought, like, everyone's out to get you, and you got to fight for what you want, and, you know, that no one's ever going to help you. And, you know, this, like I said, putting the helmet and bashing through life. And I didn't have any idea that other people thought differently. Oh, wow. I just had no clue, because nobody tells you. Like, you only know what you're thinking in your head. Like, I was like, how come no one told me that there was a different way? I didn't know. So I think that was a real understanding to me. Like, wow, I really am not, like, it's not doing things right, because I don't think there's right or wrong. But for myself, I think that it was just really showing of how I was made. I was living in a harder world than I probably needed to. And so I started thinking about the beliefs, and like when I was looking at the assessment and how my beliefs were so different than other ways of thinking, and realizing that so many other people automatically thought in these ways of the, like, you know, that things will work out for the best, or that people are here to support you. And where my feeling was like, oh, everybody's out to get you. And, you know, especially in corporate America, and how, like, no, things don't always work out for the best. You know, I have to make it better. I have to make sure that I'm protected. Like, money doesn't go on trees, or, you know, if I don't do this for myself, nobody's going to do it for me. You know, those kind of things. And I didn't know that there was a different way of doing it. And plus, to be completely vulnerable and honest, going through the sepsis and my dad passing, what was happening is funny, because all of a sudden I'd have dreams, and trauma from my past started coming up. I didn't ask for it. I was like, what is going, like, I'd have a dream, and I'm like, what is going on? So I sought out a therapist, and she happened to be spiritual as well, and she taught me a lot about energy. And so as the trauma came up, we did send me EMDR to help me understand, you know, kind of what my perspective was from a child's perspective. And that kind of helped me to shift from, no, that's not true. You know, all these things I thought about myself were just not true. And so those were really the big shifts.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it was really,
it was really intense.
Eye opener. Very.
And I, and not ever understanding spirit, like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, and I never believed in any of this beforehand, before this all happened. I was a big naysayer, right? That's all woohoo. And yeah, that's going to help you. How about working hard? You know, I was just like, you know, and, but all of a sudden it was just happening to me. It was just happening to me. And I was like, what is going on? And so, like I said, I went into my friend's like, oh, I'm going to go to this workshop. It was actually at Sticks and Stones, which, you know, is a place in Newtown, which is very spiritual. And my friend's like, do you want to come to this workshop? I had no idea what it was about. And I just went in. I remember they were so high vibrational, and they were channelers, and they were just so much energy. And I just cried. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for bringing my bad energy in here. Like, I just felt like I had this big gray cloud, and like, oh no, you can't bring us down. We can only bring you up. And I was, you know, I was like, wow, really? So I got this, this group of wonderful, beautiful women just surrounded me, who I never would have thought would have come into my life. And so I couldn't deny this spiritual experience I was having, because it was just so evident in everything that was going on with me. And as I started to switch my thinking and change my thoughts and change my perspectives, and kind of feel more ease within myself, and let go of some of the control, and find more joy, you know, my health got better, and my whole life just changed completely around. So as I was going through all of this and still in corporate, I was really struggling, because now I had passion about my spiritual experience and what I've been through, and helping others, and knew I wanted to get out of corporate. And so I just thought every day what I want to do. I really felt into how I want to feel in the morning and how I wanted my life, because, you know, the one thing I would say, when I did have sepsis and I was in the hospital, and everyone kept saying, you're really sick, and it never occurred to me at that time that I might die. Like, but at one point I was like, I wonder if I'm going to die. Like, I was just, you know, you're kind of like hallucinating, or like, it's, you know, it's not really real at the time. And I'm like, oh my God. And I gave my entire life to that company. You know, I was just like so mad. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I got a real taste of what it would feel like to be at the end of your life and think about, what did I do with my life, and what kind of impact did I make?
Right. You had time to reflect and look back. And
yeah. And so I guess that was a gift to say, oh my gosh, I want to make more impact. I need to get out of this job and find a way to make more impact to help others because I don't want my life to not be more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And having that reality, the real life experience of what that feels like. And so I got certified and I started building my business, and then I took the big leap. And I've loved every minute of it, and it just gets better and better.
Yeah. Wow. What a great story, Lauren. I mean, it's so, I don't want to say typical, but I've heard other people share that type of thing where, like you don't know what's missing in your life. Actually I had that experience myself.
Oh, really?
You don't know what's missing.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing what you've always done and nobody told you.
Exactly.
Nobody opened your eyes earlier. And then all of a sudden the universe comes and it gives you this wake up call.
Yeah.
For you, it was getting really, really sick.
Yeah.
A lot of people have accidents, things like
Yeah.
that.
You can see how it really makes you sit back and think about it and how it happens. And I don't know that much about the goddesses or angels, but I was reading one book and there was one, they said, oh, if you're not listening, there's one goddess will just come and knock you out. And I was like, why? She certainly did that.
Right. They start with little nudges.
Yeah, I wasn't getting the nudges.
You weren't
Nah. I was just going and going and going and just, yeah.
You were pretty much shut down for a while.
I was shut down
to that type of energy.
I was
Yeah.
wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah. And so you got that really big wake up call.
Yeah.
And now, like you're describing, it was for you. It felt like it was to you, right? You said these things are happening to me.
Yeah.
But now it feels like you're looking at it happen for you.
Exactly. When it was happening and I was in bed recovering from sepsis and then, having another loss and losing a good friend of mine. And then, it's just one thing. My son moved to California and it was just individually, none of them probably would have been that detrimental, but everything was happening so fast where it's just my soul just felt like it was just getting torn out. And say, why is this going on? And I think and then when the dreams started coming and I would just remember something from my past and I'd go to my therapist and say, okay, we got to work this out. And we spend a couple weeks on it. And then another thing would come up and I'm like, what is going on? Why are these dreams coming up? And so, somebody explained that, I'm healing through my dreams, right? That's just how they're coming through. And I was, it's just funny because I didn't choose whether to believe it or not. I just went with it. I was like, what's the harm in believing? But I was still I don't know really what I'm doing. I would go to a healer and they go, what do you want? I go, I don't know, just help me feel better. I just knew I wanted to feel better, but didn't, just kind of went with whatever came to me next.
Well, that's beautiful, actually. Just being open and saying yes because you were in that the flow now.
Yeah.
So, my belief is once we're open and have the sort of a vision of what could be possible, then the universe starts to, to give it to us.
Yeah.
And then you're grateful, right?
Yeah.
And then you get more.
Yeah. And also I'm really passionate because I've had some chronic diseases or autoimmune and haven't really been able to find actual diagnosis, but I've been to many doctors and, and functional doctors and holistic doctors and healing doctors or workers. And it all seems to come back to the thoughts and how our body holds the score.
Yes.
And with these chronic illnesses, it just really helped me to understand how much our thoughts and beliefs not only impact our happiness in our lives, but our physical bodies and how our body holds on this energy. And that's another piece I'm really passionate about. So, with the health and wellness part of my coaching as well, we do touch on that just to, see where you are in your physical health. Are you taking care of yourself? Or, is there anything that could be thought patterns that could be impacting your health? And this too has just been learning as I go, but also very curious when I go to, a medical doctor versus a function doctor, a healer, and then different treatment plans and, how the medical doctors don't always bring in the thoughts, and the emotional part into it and how that could be impacting your body and that disconnect.
Yeah.
And so I found it interesting, but this latest round when I've had some symptoms pop up, even the medical doctors were like, yeah, it's all starts with your head. And I'm like, what do you mean? It was the answer I got from everyone was like, yeah, there's still some stuff for me to kind of work through and let go. And as I continue to do that and feel better, I think how many other people are unaware of this as well?
Yeah.
And how many other people can I actually help and coach, not only through my experience, but my research. And I'm just an information like junkie, I just can't get enough of it. So I package all the resources, everything I need, so that when I work with my clients, I have it readily accessible for them and be able to share with them to help them in their journeys as well.
Yeah, what a great idea to bring in all those other resources, because
Yeah.
that's part of what we can do is point people in that direction.
Right.
And most medical doctors are not trained
Exactly.
in this field. So that's great that one of them was open to
Yeah.
feeling that
Yeah.
it's important to look at your thought patterns, everything that's affected you already in your life
Yeah.
that we're holding on to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. So your clients are very fortunate, sounds like to me.
Yeah. I've had my clients, I've had great transformations. It's been really beautiful thing to see and watch and to know that I've been a part of, and that my hope for all of my clients is that they're living better lives is a general word, but more happiness and more joy.
Yeah, more authenticity.
More authenticity.
You had mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
That you find out like what's important to you.
Right. And not living to what they think other people want of them or the expectations of others. And that's been a hugest once they can let go of that, of what they think others think they should be doing or where they should be in their lives. So like, wow, I never thought about that. you know?
I think that in and of itself can make a huge shift once you realize that others' expectations are not who you are.
No, not at all.
And
And
the erroneous beliefs that you developed, for example, when you were young from your dad, we all get them. I mean, I don't
Absolutely.
think anyone is immune.
No.
Unless
Absolutely.
maybe you came from a different planet or something. But, I mean, I'm not joking. That's true.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
don't have these issues, but it's very common. So, and I think people are starting to acknowledge and kind of wake up to the ideas that you've been talking about. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that it's getting more prevalent. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think even the more visibility around mindfulness, and quieting your mind and being more discerning about your thoughts and stopping the momentum. I think it's definitely more widely accepted than it used to be.
Yeah. Even in corporate, right?
Yeah.
A lot of more like meditation practices are being brought in, and yoga is really more than just yoga class and poses. It's a lifestyle,
right,
belief system, and I think that's gaining also popularity.
Yeah, and I think companies realize, well, especially in their leadership and how conscious leadership changes the entire culture of the company. And unfortunately, most of corporate America manages by fear to get people to jump and do things and threaten, and this has to be done, whatever. And that's great for the short term, but people are unhappy and they burn out and they're going to go someplace else. But if you have leaders that lead from a more conscious approach or a higher level of energy and the belief like we're a team, we can make this work together, that everyone can be happy, right? We can find solutions, and that synergy and energy that comes from that has so much greater impact than putting these deadlines and, threatening or by making people be freer. And so most people, some companies are realizing that, but also the cost of their employees when they're the sick and the chronic illness. I think that many corporations are becoming more aware of how the stress that their employees are under are impacting their health.
Yes.
And impacting productivity, and everything that goes with that.
Yeah, there's so many benefits to not having stress and being more fulfilled in your job and being not threatened. Yeah, I mean, it's a distinction between a manager and a leader.
Exactly.
Too. I did a master's in leadership.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I learned a lot about that.
Yeah.
And how important that is.
And it's amazing to me how many people are promoted or transition into leadership role, whether it's just a few people or multiple people, and they know their expertise in their job so well, but they don't know how to manage others. They've never been taught, so you can't even blame them, right? So I'm also very passionate about helping people becoming better leaders. And when I say a leader, it's a leader within yourself first, because you need to lead your own emotions.
Yes.
And then you can lead the emotions of others. And that's what really leadership is, right? Is helping
Right.
to lead the emotions of others and to work in a collaborative way and a way that everybody believes in a stronger belief in synergy, that because when you're in that level of energy, you have better creativity, problem solving skills, right? So the effect and productivity is so much greater.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And self-leadership is critical, and bringing out the best in everyone.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to wrap up, but that was a
Yeah,
great way
thank
to
you. Yeah.
finish it with that that discussion of leadership. So thank you so much, Lauren, for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for the great
Appreciate it.
conversation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thank you to the Westport Library for hosting us. See you next time. Namaste.